Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, and welcome to year 7 of Daily Comedy News. I'm Johnny Mac. This thing started in 2019, and somehow I did it all the way through the pandemic with nothing to talk about. Plenty to talk about today, and lately it's been super busy. Hey, remember Tony Hinchcliffe? He's hosting WWE Late Night on August 2nd in Englewood, New Jersey. Well, not anymore. The event has been removed from the WWE events page. Refunds are being offered. The event was going to be hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe, and WWE star Cody Rhodes had been officially advertised for the show, although the only WWE star, I guess we're using particular language there, we can't just say wrestler. Anyway, Cody Rhodes was the only one who was announced. According to WrestleTix, less than 900 tickets had been sold as of early July. Less than 900. Yikes. So if you're planning on seeing Tony Hinchcliffe on the 2nd, you're not. David Letterman has officially weighed in on Colbert Gate. On Letterman's YouTube channel, David Letterman was the guest on the Barbara Gaines show. David Letterman, who's 78 now, yikes. Then again, I guess he was 40 when I was a kid, right? David said, "It's all very strange, it's very complicated, but it was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it?" Letterman speculated that Paramount is capitulating to new owner Ellison, who might not want any trouble from that guy. Dave did an impression of Paramount executives going, "Not only are we going to get rid of that guy, we're going to get rid of the whole franchise. You don't have to worry about another guy. It's gone, buddy." Dave said, "I think it's sad, but what this indicates is Ellison doesn't want any trouble along the lines of freedom of the press or free speech or freedom of expression. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want the government going after them." I don't think it was money. I think it was to make sure that Ellison was solid spending Dad Larry Ellison's money. You're telling me losing this kind of money happened yesterday? I bet they were losing this kind of money a month ago. I bet they were losing this kind of money 6 weeks ago, or they've never been losing money. Take a look at the CBS News. It's still in business, and I'm not certain that's a profit center. They did not handle Stephen Colbert, the face of that network, in the way he deserves to have been handled. One day, if not today, the people at CBS who have manipulated and handed this are going to be embarrassed because this is gutless. Dave joked that Colbert has become a martyr and said, "Now we've all got to kiss Stephen Colbert's ring." You may be seeing a lot of headlines about Jay Leno weighing in on all this. Now, Jay did comment about Late Night, but he had made the comments before the Colbert announcement was made. Just over the weekend, somebody noticed it, and it kind of bubbled up on YouTube, and then everybody wrote articles about it. I don't think it lessens what Jay said, but he did say it before Colbert Gate. Jay Leno, who's 75 now, was interviewed at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. David Trujillo, the president and CEO of the foundation, had noted that Leno's jokes were equally balanced between mocking Democrats and Republicans. Again, this before Colbert Gate. Leno says, "I got hate letters saying you and your Republican friends, and others saying, I hope you and your Democratic buddies are happy. That's how you get a whole audience. Now you have to be content with half the audience because you have to give your opinion. Rodney Dangerfield and I were friends. I knew Rodney 40 years, and I have no idea if he was a Democrat or Republican. We never discussed politics. We just discussed jokes. I like to think that people came to a comedy show to get away from the pressures of life. I love political humor, don't get me wrong, but people wind up cozying too much to one side or the other. I don't think anybody wants to hear a lecture. Why shoot for just half an audience? Why not try to get the whole? I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't understand why you'd alienate one particular group, or just don't do it all. I'm not saying you have to throw your support on one side, but just do what's funny." The Hollywood Reporter has a little more about that Chris Rock mystery set that I told you about on yesterday's show. Apparently Rock went an hour, joked about, quote, everything from abandoning Love Island and divorce by promoting his ex-wife's attorney to wonderful Halle Berry and the infamous Oscar slap. Regarding the slap, a source told the Hollywood Reporter that Chris Rock broached the subject only after an audience member lobbed a question about the incident. Rock answered with several hilarious responses. The source said it was a night everyone who attended will long remember and called the set remarkably brilliant. It remains unclear what Chris Rock is up to. Very interesting. Out on Netflix today, Dusty Slay's new special, Wet Heat. Dusty hasn't done any press yet that I've seen, but he said the special's as hot as a July in Alabama. I do think it's my best work yet, and I'm very excited for people to see it. We're having a good time. That's his catchphrase. Craig Robinson was at Comic-Con over the weekend. He addressed the stunt last month where he said he was quitting comedy. He was asked if he had fooled anybody he knows. He said, 1,000% everybody. My father was like, what's going on? I was like, I'll call you back, because I didn't want to tell him. Robinson said, I'm not quitting, I'm back. You're welcome. Yes, Dad, I'm still in comedy. At Just for Laughs, Ryan Reynolds presented Rob Mack with the Generation Award right after the Lifetime Achievement Trophy had been given to George Wallace. Ryan Reynolds said, Rob, second place to the Lifetime Achievement Award. Amazing. Reynolds praised Rob Mack, saying Hollywood could be an insipid crap house of round-the-clock shamelessness. You have to be willing to be excited to grind and push a dream up a hill and have the wherewithal to do it on your own. Nobody does 17 seasons of a TV show with the same cast and crew and also happens to be a D-word jerkface. And without Rob, there would be no donkey series called Welcome to Wrexham. Mack said, I'm here because of Ryan Reynolds, who not only took my career into the stratosphere, but also flew here to give this to me. Fortune Feimster and Mae Martin were there receiving the podcast award. Mae Martin said, this means a lot to me because I'm a comedian. Fortune added, for our community, representation is still very much needed and wanted, and it's cool to be talking about these different topics. George Wallace of the Lifetime Achievement Award said, that means you've been around for a while, know a few things, and I know a few things. At the Mae Martin and Friends show, the folks from Exclaim Canada caught it out. Mae did a set of about 30 minutes discussing living in L.A., buying a house on soil that's actively trying to slide into the ocean, and befriending a possum. Exclaim says Martin was trying out new jokes, and they were all hitting. Next up, Nick Mohammed. You know him from Ted Lasso. He rolled on the stage wearing a pair of vintage roller skates and almost tripped a few times. Did some material about the absurdity of the 12 Days of Christmas. And then wondered, what if the song is cumulative? That's a lot of gifts. He even displayed a bar graph of the gifts as a visual backdrop. Nina Conti got up, described as the UK's queen of ventriloquism, armed with a foul-mouthed monkey puppet and some terrifyingly realistic lip masks. It was very bizarre and absolutely hilarious. Sabrina Jaley's out next. Jokes about parenthood, abortion, and the semantics of Urdu. And closing out the night, Fortune Feimster, also trying out new material at the festival that is aggressive. Sounds like it was a good show. Friends, for years, I spoke the truth about Adam Sandler comedies. I was out here all alone, taking on everyone, taking on the mainstream media, shouting from the mountaintop, Adam Sandler comedies are terrible. Now, Adam Sandler's a good guy. Everybody who works with him loves him. Never heard a bad word about him. He's a family man. He's a man who dresses so casual that he makes me look like James Bond, and I say that right now. I am wearing for real a yellow baseball cap, a slightly too small, shrunk in the wash purple volleyball shirt, because it's one of the shirts I don't mind getting chlorine on when I clean the pool, and gray sweatpants. And Adam Sandler makes me look like a savvy dresser. Adam Sandler, solid dramatic actor, but he makes terrible comedies. Now, I don't begrudge the man. If Netflix wrote you that check, you would say yes. If Netflix asked me, hey, do you want to be in Happy Gilmore 3? You play Adam Sandler's best friend? I'll be there right now. Or are we filming in Montclair? I'll hop in the car. I'll be there in 25 minutes. Hey, Adam, great to see you. Nice outfit. But all that said, Happy Gilmore 2 is so bad that it has given others the courage to speak truth to the reality of Adam Sandler comedies. The Daily Beast has a wonderful review. It may be the greatest movie review of all time. It's titled, Happy Gilmore 2 may be the worst sequel of all time. Now, I read it, and I shared it in the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. And this review is so epic, I don't have the gravitas to read it to you. My voice cannot bring to life the majesty of these words from the Daily Beast review, Happy Gilmore 2 may be the worst sequel of all time. So I have used an AI voice to read it to you because I want you to hear it in all its majesty.
Arguably the least inspired film in the actor's canon, if not all of movie history, director Kyle Newacheck's follow-up is a cinematic abomination devoid of imagination, skill, or purpose, floundering about for a criminally long 114 minutes in search of a single laugh. Even for a star who's made his fair share of duds, this is Sandler's nadir, a cash-grab nostalgia fest that pairs terrible new jokes with stale old ones, as well as piles on cameos from family members and famous friends who were ostensibly tricked by their love of the original into participating in this Hindenburg-grade fiasco. There isn't a person alive who's ever wondered what became of Sandler's early man-child heroes, and yet Happy Gilmore 2 nonetheless opts to answer that question regarding its title character. Happy Gilmore's humor stemmed from Sandler's rageaholic Bruins-loving protagonist trying to fit into the prim and proper golf world. But nearly 3 decades later, the headliner doesn't radiate anger so much as slovenly inertia. as proven by every aspect of his recent output, the leaden direction, the half-hearted writing, his trademark baggy gym attire, laziness is now Sandler's cinematic brand. That clashes poorly with the spirit of Happy, who here feels like a sleepy approximation of his former self, going through the motions out of begrudging obligation rather than impulse. Virtually every notable bit from Happy Gilmore is redone, and almost always without a novel twist. Apparently, Sandler and company believe fans have only been waiting for the same thing, except in sloppier form. Happy Gilmore 2 has no courage to be its own thing, and its story, involving Happy squaring off against Safdie's energy-drinky ringers who've had hip surgery to enhance their swings, its story is so dreary and tossed off that it feels as if it's actively trying to make viewers tune out. Between its wooden non-actors, squandered comedians, and flat relatives, it's a mix of the bad, and the bad. As Sandler has grown into a more accomplished actor, see the Meyerowitz stories, Hustle, and Uncut Gems, he's lost any trace of his hilarious fastball. His goofiness has grown stale and dispirited with age, and to date, he's failed to compensate by finding a different register in which to be funny. With all due respect to Grown Ups 2, The Ridiculous Six, and Sandy Wexler, Happy Gilmore 2 is the bottom of the Sandler barrel, a grim disaster that not only sullies the good name of its ancestor, but so badly flails on its own limited terms that it suggests the A-lister should concentrate on dramatic parts and leave the immature comedy to others.
Now, as the king of fairness, not every review is that epic. Some are just mistaken. They're well-meaning, but they are mistaken. For example, in Esquire, Brady Langman writes, and there are spoilers here, but you've had 4 days to watch Happy Gilmore 2. Spoilers. Brady writes, I gave in sometime after Happy Gilmore 2 killed Julie Bowen with a golf ball and dropped Tuesday's Gone for the first time, but definitely before the Masters champion, respected mental health advocate, and generally sweet Irishman Rory McIlroy was on the receiving end of I'll clean up a purple nurple. Actually, no. It was when Bad Bunny lubed up Travis Kelce with honey and invited a CGI bear to eat him alive. That's when I silently told Adam Sandler that he had won, and that no matter how many times he'd drink booze from a cucumber across Netflix's sequel to 1996's Happy Gilmore, I would shut up and enjoy it, because I live in a world where President Big Mac is about to throw hands with Eric Cartman, which means that I'm entirely allowed to enjoy one uncomplicated screening of Happy Gilmore 2. Did we need Happy Gilmore 2? No, we absolutely did not. Am I happy that it exists? Absolutely. While coming nowhere near the heights and ingenuity of its predecessor, Happy Gilmore 2 is still a blast with every cameo tuned directly into Sandler's comedic frequency. Now, you'll probably see quite a few reviews dunking on Happy Gilmore 2 and its shameless nostalgia plays this weekend. To that I say two things. One, fair, and two, at this point in Sandler's career, where we know he can bust out an Oscar-worthy performance at any minute, yet chooses to make impossible to hate escapist comedy, regret his work not only on a curve, but by wholly different benchmarks. My advice, let it wash over you. Enjoy the sight of John Daly watching Love Island, Australia. Bask in the vision of Ben Stiller's face superimposed on a golf ball. Let Sandman do as only Sandman can do, whisk you away from this doomed planet for 2 hours to laugh at Eminem's fake beard. I have gotten more feedback on my Adam Sandler commentary over the last few days than I think anything that I've ever done. I heard from Justin. Justin, appreciate you listening. Justin said, I liked it. A break from reality with a healthy dose of nostalgia. Happy Gilmore 2 delivers. It was made for the audience who wanted to see it made, period. Heard from Paul. He wrote, Johnny Mac, I know you're railing against Happy Gilmore 2. Enjoy being fancy French, but it's actually pretty good. And Happy was a hockey player. He pointed out. He was making fun of my recent move to Canada. I moved back to get away from the monkeypox, but boy, as a Canadian citizen there for 4 days, it was great. And I do have to leave you on a sad note. Tom Lehrer, the political satirist and mathematician, died age 97 over the weekend. Tom recorded and performed his own music, including his first solo album, Songs by Tom Lehrer, in 1953. He served in the Army for 2 years, then released his second album, More of Tom Lehrer, and a live recording, An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer, both of those in 1959. The next year, he was nominated for a Grammy for Best Comedy Performance, parentheses musical. Then he decided to quit touring and focus on teaching math. However, he kept working on music on the side. He did a weekly satire song for the NBC show That Was the Week That Was. He later released a compilation of those on That Was the Year That Was. That peaked at number 18 on the 1966 Billboard chart. He also wrote songs for The Electric Company, a beloved song of my youth. If you're of my age, you know The Electric Company. We should talk about that show one time. I mean, it had Morgan Freeman and Spider-Man, guys. Tom Lehrer in 2000 said, I enjoyed it up to a point, but to me, going out and performing the concert every night when it was all available on record would be like a novelist going out and reading his novel every night. In 2022, he announced on his website that he relinquished ownership of his music to the public domain. He said, help yourself, and don't send me any money. Rest in peace, Tom, and that's your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.